Hello everyone, it's me again, finally. Like I always seem to do, I kind of effed off and had a little bit of a crisis for just a little bit, maybe even multiple crises. It's just for a little while I didn't have anything to make videos about, but I'm back now. So welcome to a new vlog. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is April K. I am a struggling writer, and I just kind of use this channel to document my journey and I guess hold myself accountable for my writing. So what happened? I had like an identity crisis, I guess. I started having a crisis about genre and what I want to write and what I want to make a hopeful career out of writing. And that kind of led to me spiraling into an identity crisis, like an author identity crisis, because I came to a revelation and it kind of sucked. My whole life I've loved reading young adult books. I pretty much like any genre when it's young adult. I like fantasy, urban fantasy, science fiction, historical, even contemporary. I like the way young adult books are typically written. I like the subject matter, but it's really popular right now and it's been great. A lot of great books coming out. And so it kind of just stood to reason that I love writing, so young adult fiction should be what I want to write, I guess. Not really. I still really love reading young adult. It's probably, like I said, my favorite kind of book to read. I love the topics that are usually brought up in YA books. I love the diversity. I love the kind of addressing of like sexuality, and I just feel like, especially nowadays, young adult is such a smart, snappy genre, for lack of a better word. It doesn't really get a lot of credit. A lot of people just write it off as, Twilight, essentially. But I still really love reading it. I think it's great. I think young adult fiction is awesome. But I just don't like writing it. It's difficult for me. I don't even really know why, and I feel like I come up with all of these great ideas and I'll plot them out from start to finish, and I have great characters and great character arcs planned for them, but then somehow I just can't execute them. I used to think it was just I wasn't trying hard enough, or okay, maybe this idea wasn't as good as I thought it was, or something like that. But I just realized that it's not that enjoyable for me, I guess. As much as I love to read it, I don't have fun writing young adult. It sucks to kind of realize that because it's been my whole life, essentially. So in the time that I was away, it took me a lot of battling with myself to kind of figure it out and to come to grips with it and realize that I had essentially wasted a lot of my own time. I don't know why it is so difficult for me to write young adult, because I'm gonna be real with you, when I write other stories and for other I guess age groups, I don't struggle so much. And I used to think it was just like fan fiction. I used to think I just liked writing fan fiction because it was fun. But when I look at all of the fan fiction I've written, it's always about adults, and it's always about adult topics. It's never, you could never call my fan fiction young adult. I just think it probably boils down to I don't know how to relate to young people, and I didn't even know how to relate to young people when I was a young people. I guess I don't understand the teenage experience because I did not have a proper teenage experience. I was very sheltered growing up. I'm very naive. I am autistic. For those who are new to my channel, I'm autistic. And so my adolescence was filled with just not fitting in and feeling like an extraterrestrial and trying really hard to mimic other people to get people to like me. And, I was bullied a lot. And so I just didn't really have the kind of experience that I could draw from, I guess, to write realistic adolescent characters. I have movies and TV shows and the books that I like to read, but at the same time, I don't know, it's hard for me, I guess, to just be in that setting. It's weird to kind of say it out loud because it seems stupid, because I can easily put myself into a setting where vampires exist, but for some reason I can't put myself into a teenage experience. It's weird. I honestly, I don't even know if that has any merit. It's just the only thing I can think of that would explain why young adult fiction is so difficult for me to write. So, long story short, YA is just not what I want to write anymore. And I spent more than half of my life thinking that it was. I spent more than half of my life kind of planning for, you know, the big day. I was like, you know what, I'm going to be a young adult author one day, and I'm going to be the next, I don't know, Veronica Roth. I couldn't think of anybody. You know, I have spent so long wanting to write young adult, and it's hit me now at the tender age of 33 that it's not my genre. It's just not. And it's been hard. It's been, I don't know, like, I don't want to be dramatic about it, but this is what I thought I wanted to do. And I've come to realize that I was just kind of forcing it. I was trying too hard at probably even, like, you know, my high school experience. I was trying too hard to mimic other people and be what I thought I wanted to be, but ultimately I gotta be myself, I guess. So one thing that I have always liked writing is romance. And looking at my history with fan fiction and what I like to write there, it would seem that it's not just any romance, but, you know, spicy romance. I like to write smut. I like happy endings. I like actual, like, you know, romance, not just dirty, wrong smut, which there is a time and place for, but it's just not what I write. I read it, just not what I write. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm writing adult romance, adult erotic romance, and honestly, I'm really enjoying it. Over these past few months, I have outlined and quick drafted 2 novels, essentially. They both are finished stories, and they're both around, I want to say, 54,000 words, and I've enjoyed every second of this process. And it's really weird, because it's like I'm coming off of the, I guess, the sadness, the grief of realizing that young adult is not my genre, but then I'm coming into this happiness that, wow, adult romance is so fun, I love this. So it's a weird contradictory feeling, but I'm trying not to, like, kind of focus on the negatives, but it's like everything about my writing and my goals and what I want to accomplish has just completely changed. It's just done a 180, and I have to figure it out now all over again. It's a little daunting, I'm not gonna lie. And it's why I was gone for so long, because I kind of had to do a lot of thinking and, like, questioning myself and trying to figure out where I go from here, because a rebrand will have to happen. I'm not sure when, obviously not now, but I will have to rebrand myself, because for the past couple of years, since 2018, I have been marketing myself as a young adult author, and I'm not. And at first I thought I was just going to take a different pen name to write my adult romance under, but the thing is, my young adult trilogy was a complete flop, as embarrassing as that is to admit, and as much as I enjoyed my trilogy, it was a flop. It's not like I have a huge reader base or anything. I already have my website, I already have all my social medias. Like, me taking on a different pen name is pointless, because then it's like, what am I gonna do with this pen name? I'm not going to change my name. I'm going to stay April K, and I will just do a complete rebrand when I'm ready to self-publish these books, because that is the path I will be taking with these books. And it's embarrassing. It's hard to kind of acknowledge, because at my age I feel like I want to have everything figured out, and I want to look like I have everything figured out, and I don't at all, and it sucks. And at this age I would have liked to have accomplished more in my life. And a lot of people will say that I am successful because I wrote a trilogy and I self-published it, and, you know, a lot of people tell me how cool that is and how great that is, and I can see where they're coming from, but at the same time it doesn't feel great. I don't feel successful. It's not like I'm making money off of my books. I don't have people reading it and telling me that they enjoyed it. I mean, I don't even have them telling me that they hated it, you know, I just don't have people reading it at all. So it doesn't feel like an accomplishment, and I get stuck in my head sometimes, because sometimes you'll see news articles and it's like, oh, this 19-year-old just signed a, you know, 6-figure deal to publish their debut novel, and it's like, wow, great, you know. happy for them, but when's it going to be my turn? And then you start to worry that you're too late and that boat is going to keep on sailing without you, and it sucks and it's not fun. So I get in my head a lot, and that's why it's so hard to kind of admit that everything I've done for these past few years has kind of been a waste of time. And I'm sure you could argue and say it's not been a waste of time, you've learned, you've grown, you know, you've made friends along the way, but it's like I could have still done all that and been accomplishing something, so it's hard, and you know, it is what it is. The other thing I really wanted to update you guys on is NaNoWriMo, because if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that I participated and I had a lot of fun, and that I succeeded way earlier than I have ever done before. So I'm wearing my Nano sweatshirt just because I don't really get to wear this often, so I kind of wear it all the time in November. So I had a blast during this month, in this month's session, so I had no idea where that train of thought was going. For the first time, I've been competing, that feels like the wrong word to use. I've been participating in NaNoWriMo since, like, I want to say 2004. I discovered it very young, loved it. I love the community, I love everything about it. So I've been participating a long time, and for the first time, like literally this is the first time this has ever happened, not only did I hit my goal of 50k, but I actually have a finished draft, like from it. Like I input my word count, it was 53 something, and also I had a beginning, middle, and end. Usually when November ends, I hit 50,000 words, but I'm still kind of like in the middle of a long-winded piddling story that by the time November is over, I've completely lost interest in it, and I've lost steam, and I'm bored with it because it's so long-winded, so I just will shelve it and never come back to it. So for the first time, I have a finished story, and one that I'm really excited to go back to and revise and fix. And it feels like it's a good sign. It feels like I am finally on the right path, I guess. So that's been a nice feeling, and it's been very, very welcome after the grief that followed my revelation. So I guess to kind of talk a little bit about like what exactly I'm writing. Back in October, I plotted out and quick drafted a paranormal romance, a spicy paranormal romance about a small town that a pack of werewolves kind of lives in, and I don't know, it's kind of tropey and cliche, and it's really kind of generic. Like a woman meets a super hot werewolf dude, they have instant chemistry, but they both have their own hang-ups, and it's like a back and forth until, you know, their sexual and romantic tension just will not be ignored any longer, and then they have a happily ever after, and it's great. As cliche and tropey as it is, I have never enjoyed writing something so much, because it just, I guess it's just true to what I like writing. I don't know, because that's kind of what my fanfiction always ended up being. I liked to write alternate universe fics where the characters I liked would meet each other, have instant chemistry, will they, won't they, and then they do, and then it ends and they have a happily ever after, and that's just what I like to write, I guess. And after I finished that first book, I had enjoyed it so much that when NaNoWriMo, like, it was coming up, I was like, alright, I'm going to write the second book in this universe, and I'm just going to write about a different couple from this same small town. And that's what I did. And like I said, the first book I want to say was probably like 56,000 words, and then I wrote this second one for Nano, which ended up being about 53,000 words. And besides the fact that I'm really enjoying it, I feel really good because it feels like I have a potential for a series here. Like, I'm introducing all of these characters, and it's like I want to write more about my side characters, so it's like, great, I can plan a third book about this person and a fourth book about that person. So it feels pretty good, and I feel really optimistic about it because now that I have these two under my belt, it feels easy. It's like, wow, I can do this. So I'm feeling really excited about this universe. They have like tentative titles right now, but I'm not going to share them with you because A, I don't think they'll stick, and B, I'm not that happy with them. Writing has just been easier for me too, and I think it's because I have finally like come up with a method and a process that works for me, and I feel like I've cracked some weird code or like hacked my writing life, and it's really strange but exciting at the same time. Like, for example, the first book I wrote in 14 days, but I don't write on weekends, so a little less than 14. I just know it was October 14th when I finished and October 1st when I started. And then I started the second one on November 1st, finished on November 15th. So I'm not sure how it happened, but I was able to pump out these stories pretty quick. And like I said, they're quick drafts, they have to be revised. But it's like before I struggled to finish a story. Like, I would be working on something for months and months and months and never finish. And somehow I'm like figuring it out. I think my next video will be about my system and my method, I guess, for writing. Because it really just involves this. This is my writing notebook, and between this and my iPad, those are like the two tools that I need for writing. And like I said, I've hacked my writing life. My next video, sirens. Our apartment is like sandwiched between a hospital and a fire department, so. But yeah, so my next video will be a look into my journal, my system, and how it works for me. And I'm kind of excited to share that because it took me forever to find something that worked for me. So that's my update. Had a crisis, had to admit to some really difficult things, and now everything about my writing life will have to change, but I feel optimistic. So until then, what I'm working on now is I am doing a first round of revisions on the first book that I wrote. Just kind of working in big picture things that need to change, and I'm kind of just taking it one day at a time. And I think after I finish this second draft, first round of revisions, whatever, I might ask some friends to read it, and then I will move on to edit the second one. I think that will be my goal, is to just work on these two until I think they're ready to be read by a wider audience. And then maybe I'll work on book 3. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just taking it one day at a time. I wish that I hadn't wasted so much time trying to be something that I'm not. I know, like I said, I know people will say that I didn't waste my time and that I learned a lot and that it is what it is, but I really do wish that I had kind of listened to myself more. I wish I had discovered this fact about myself sooner so that I could work on it sooner. And I'm just trying really hard right now to keep myself from rushing and scrambling to try and make up for what I consider lost time. So, like I said, one day at a time, no rush, I just want to have fun. But yeah, if you made it this far, sorry, I tried really hard not to ramble, but I get up in my own head and I can't help it. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening to me. I think things will be better for me from here on out, and I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm excited to continue this journey, and I'm excited to continue sharing this journey with you guys. And if you guys like spicy romance, hit me up. Maybe you can be one of my alpha readers, I don't know. For the record, I've never had alpha readers, so yeah. So how's your writing going? Have you ever had like life-changing epiphanies about your writing before? How did you handle it? Do you struggle with your author identity and genre? Let me know, I don't know. I can't be the only person that ever had an author identity crisis, right? Like, I can't be the only person. Have you ever thought you wanted to write one genre only to realize that you actually kind of hate it writing? And it's weird because, like I said, I still love reading young adult. I don't know, I don't understand. I wish I liked writing young adult. I feel like it is a very viable market. I feel like a lot of my ideas fit for young adult stories, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna end this here because I've already rambled for too long and I kind of lost the plot a little bit. So like, comment, and subscribe, all that fun stuff down below. And I will see you guys in my next video, which, like I said, I want to do like a look into my writing journal and show you my process and what works for me. And yeah, hopefully that will be what I film next week. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate you all so much. I appreciate you all for not giving up on me when I disappear for, like, you know, the millionth time. I will see you in my next video.